try to get kicked out. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I certainly understand. You got to
I told
stick
the
up for
one
your
run.
guy.
I look. It's first and goal from the 1 yard line. I mean, first and 10 from the 1 yard line. They got 99 yards to go. We got a chance to stop them. No, from the 2 yard line. We get a tackle at the one, so it should be second and 11.
Uh-huh.
Ah, flag come by for face mask. Everybody in the stadium see you grabbing him by his shoulder. On film, it's even worse. I was mad. I was mad before I watched the film. I was even more mad watching the film. Man,
Oh, man.
15 yarders. By that time, like game over. But every time in the first half, we had them stop. A flag came by. Every time. Second, third quarter too. Third quarter too. Every time we had them stop, flag came by. So
Oh, man.
I'm asking you this before we get started with Hell Wildcats. I'm gonna look up the rules. I'm pretty sure I don't have to have the pregame talk to A1 officials. And every time they walk up to me for the rest of the year, I'm walking away. I'm gonna let my assistants handle it.
Okay, well, I don't know from what you're saying, and I heard that same thing too. I don't know, was it some kind of
It was the same crew from our spring game 2 years ago against Creek.
come on at Spruce Creek?
It was the
Oh my.
same crew minus the White Cat. The White Cat was the side judge, but it was the other five out of them seven.
Oh, I remember
Five
that game.
five
They
out
was
of them
flag
seven
happy.
was the same crew. Same crew. When they walked
Oh.
out, I told Coach CA we down 14. I ain't making no excuses, but I already knew what it was.
Hey, so is it a case of you know how some of these programs is Vero Beachisms,
No,
Veniceisms,
no,
one
no,
of
no,
those?
no, 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 no. It ain't that. It ain't pro another program. It's anti mainly.
Oh, gotcha.
It ain't pro. Yeah, it ain't pro anything. It's anti mainly. But we're gonna get on Bethune. I just want to talk before everybody get on. We'll talk
Oh, I
about
feel
we'll
you.
talk about
'Cause I
Cookman
heard
tonight.
about it. I'm like, what went on out there at Spec
Yeah,
Martin last night?
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't tripping. They too good of a football team to have that many penalties. And I'm okay with us having penalties if we earned them penalties.
Oh yeah, but not just not no ticky tack stuff. Yeah, I'd have had
Nine,
a problem with that too.
nine, nine 15 yarders.
Man, that's a lot of 15
Against
yard penalties.
yeah, against the fifth ranked team in the entire state right now.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yep. We gonna get on
Uh,
we gonna get on these bumblebees. We're gonna talk about this.
No, listen.
ah,
I don't know where Clayton at. Clayton always give us an update report on where the belt boys are, but I had to sleep on my stomach last night.
Oh
Before
yeah.
oh, man.
yeah, we'll
So
jump into yeah.
yeah, did they before everybody else get on, did they took their foot off the gas? That's what happened.
Who
When I was getting up, when I was checking updates, well, it got ugly quick. I stopped checking updates.
they didn't take their foot off the gas. They scored every time they had the ball. At the very end of the game, like within in the last 5 minutes, they didn't take Andrew Body out to the last possession or two. I think the last two
Yeah.
I'm
possessions.
trying to see. I'm trying to see like
So
what happened with us. Like I often just caught fire. I see Timmy got in.
no, listen. Okay, so let me say this, and I'll circle back around and repeat this again. For all of the folk, who say, well, Cookman must have scored in garbage time. Bethune had 309 yards of offense in the first half.
Yes, sir.
Let me repeat this one more time. 309 yards of offense in the first
At
half.
halftime.
I think that's more yard. We didn't average 300 yards of offense last season.
No.
So no, but there was no problem moving the ball. Again, we'll repeat this a little bit more when we get back and start focusing on this game. But in the first half, there wasn't a problem moving the ball. You had scored on the first possession, second possession, had it at midfield, went for it on 4th and 2, had the right play call, had the guy open. Cam didn't step into the throw, threw it, tried to guide it, and just missed the throw. They went down and scored. We come back, we fumbled, they score again. We driving, we get we fumbled the ball. So it wasn't a problem of Bethune. Now they didn't finish drives with scores, but
Yeah.
they moved the ball. The offense looked like the offense. The problem is that defensively, we're gonna talk about that in a little bit.
Ooh,
So you're gonna
yeah,
say
man.
something, Charles?
Oh, I'm just saying, 10 yards of play. If you give up 10 yards of play, it's gonna be hard for you.
Yeah,
First down
10.
every time you touch the ball. You ain't winning that game.
No,
Yeah.
and I think they They wound up with 388 yards rushing. And
Yeah.
so, and they when you say 10 yards a play, they average 10 yards rushing, Jeremy. 15 average 15 yards per for pass completion, but actually 10 yards per rush, which is that's ridiculous. But anyways, we'll talk
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, and the updated stats say 389, but we'll go from there. So we'll start as we always do, just trying to kind of look around the HBCU landscape and talk about anything else that stood out. I think before we even get into the Division II games like we normally do, Troy, open up your speaker. I see that you were over in Lakeland on the campus of Southeastern University that took all my money when I sent my son over there. And and so anyways, tell me what'd you see from the Florida Memorial Southeastern game, whichever one of you guys want to jump in and comment on that game real quickly. I don't even know who won. Did Florida Memorial they were winning at one point.
They won 28-23. And they got a little history with Southeastern. I'm not gonna say they're rivals, but from what I've seen the last couple of years, they don't really like each other.
Yeah. You got the boys from Dade going over there to on the campus of the church folk. And so anyway, Troy, what's up with the Florida Memorial game? Got to unmute your mic, sir.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Florida Memorial, man. That is a team with they got big plays in them. Big plays in them. Like I didn't. That was my first Florida Memorial game. That was my first time on Southeastern campus for an NAIA school. I was impressed. But
Yeah.
Florida Memorial, big plays in the passing game. For all my criticism of HBCUs not throwing the ball, they don't have that problem. And when I tell you, they did a very good job of isolating their playmakers one-on-one and making big plays down the field. Like it was a joy to my heart from start to finish. If you eliminate the turnovers, they win this game by 20 points. But they had turnovers in the red zone. They didn't convert in the red zone. So that kind of hurt them. And I thought Southeastern had won the game with the field goal at the end. But Florida Memorial, with that South Florida speed, went right down the field on the bomb. I want to say with like a minute and a couple of seconds left, was on the 2-yard line, punched it in for the score, and that was the game.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. 20 seconds left, actually, because I was watching the screen, man. He hit that like 30-yard bomb to get him at that 1 or 2-yard line, and the running back finished off the drive.
Now, I'm going to be fair. The refs were not on Florida Memorial's side. There was a targeting call that was not targeting that I just so happened to videotape. That man helmet hit the ball. He did not hit that young man's head. He hit the ball, and that ball got dislodged. That was
I was going to say, that was a big hit. That wasn't no targeting. That was a big hit.
So that just, but I did not know about Florida Memorial. I will start covering them because they got some athletes. And the quarterback from Mount Dora, Wigan, he can sling it. Yep, he can sling it.
Yeah, he went for almost 300. I think like 296.
296. If you take out now, Southeastern got a monster, Ibrahim on that defensive line.
Oh,
absolute game record. He had, if you take away Taekwon's sack yardage, I think they actually get close to 100 yards rushing. But Ibrahim just was an absolute destroyer. They could do nothing with him all night.
And Southeastern, they're ranked weren't they ranked in like
they were ranked 10th coming to that game. They were ranked number 10.
Yeah, good deal. So yeah, well, I'm just happy that Edward Waters and Florida Memorial that they restarted their football programs. They're both finding success. So that's just good for the state of Florida, more opportunities for more kids in the state who, for one reason or another, maybe you don't land at a Division I school. Well, you have Division II, Edward Waters in Jacksonville. You have NAIA down in Miami. So just more opportunities. So you love that. Love to see guys get an opportunity to go out and play and see those programs again be revived and now thriving. Really, I mean, they're really kind of taking it to they're taking that next step as programs. Both of them really are. So you love to see
Oh
that.
yeah. And Southeastern and Ford Memorial, man, it's a little backstory behind them two from the last 3 years because they didn't play last year. And even though they're conference opponents, but
Oh,
it's
really?
a
Yeah.
whole little story about it, huh?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the history between those two programs.
Oh, you got time?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, well, okay. I'm trying to think where I start. Ford Memorial started playing ball back in 2020, the COVID year. I think they played 3 games, but they didn't play Southeastern that year. So 2021, they played Southeastern. Southeastern beats them. 2022, they played them down there in Miami. I wasn't covering that game. I was just there as a spectator. I just happened to be in Miami that weekend. I was like, let me go check what Flomo got going on. Man, that was a 41-7 game. Southeastern whooped them. So after they won the game, the kids from Southeastern started doing the row your boat celebration, which PJ Fleck, University of Minnesota. I'm sure you've
Right.
seen it before.
Right.
So they did that after the game in 2022. Go to 2023. I covered that game. That game, it was Southeastern's homecoming. So that was a close game. Kind of it was Southeast was winning 24-21 going into the fourth quarter, and then Florida Memorial kind of put the hammer down. They scored twice. They beat them 35-24. So after the game, I noticed there's some athletes from Florida Memorial. They dashed across after the handshake. They dashed across the field to Southeastern side. I guess that's the student section. The band was there.
Hmm.
And you could tell people were alum. They had the red and black on. And they sat right there. They started doing the row your boat celebration. Them people got so mad. You can hear the boos and you can hear words that I can't repeat on this thing right here. And anyway, they do the celebration. Now coaches are exchanging words. This big dude from Southeastern, man, this guy had to be about, I say, if I'm 6'4", this dude had to be about 6'5", 280, like big muscle bound dude. Looked like if he go work out, he bench pressed the whole weight room. So he walking up fast. I'm like, oh, buddy, about to get some straightening. So he walked up to one of the assistant coaches. He was like, oh, the conference commissioner and the athletic director is going to hear about this. It's like, no, like, how you gonna get mad? Now, y'all just did that down in Miami last year. They did it to you, I guess, because it was homecoming. How you mad now? And the crazy thing is, I don't know the do's and don'ts in the Sun Conference athletic handbook, but Ford Memorial's then coach was Bobby Rome. I think he's at Chicago State now, like starting that program. I think
Hmm.
they start playing in 26. He was Ford Memorial's coach at that time, and he got suspended for a game for that. I thought was extreme because there was no punches thrown, wasn't even no shoves or nothing. They just went over there and rode the boat in front of their fans after Southeastern did the year before.
Hey, man, selective morality dealing with those good people over there, messing with them
Yep.
church folk. Yeah, and so yeah, I have my again, my son graduated from Southeastern, good college, good university. But that kind of stuff is to be expected, specifically when they're playing against Florida Memorial. You can fill in the gaps if you want to. I'm gonna keep it
Oh,
moving.
oh yeah,
So
I
yeah, that
got you.
you know how that works. We already know how that goes. But yeah, so anything else around from the Division II ranks yesterday? I know there was a big upset at Fort Valley, lost their homecoming. What else happened out there in
Yeah,
the
boy, they had
in
a
the D2?
full on
Woo,
brawl
boy.
at Fort Valley.
Yeah.
Them boys got to tussling at the end of the game.
Two
Yeah,
two
it was
different skirmishes broke off, right?
Yeah, they just started fighting. All I saw was players go back and forth, and then it just became a big huddle.
a
Man, okay, I like that. And then quick question. So Jackson State is like ranked 17th in the FCS poll. So if you think if they get, let's just say they get ranked number 8 or number 7 by the end of the season, you think they're gonna take the FCS playoff bid, or they're gonna go back to the Celebration Bowl?
No, they would definitely go to the. So first of all, they have a big. There's a big. I think the assumption there is that they win this week against Alabama State. You're saying, but that's a huge assumption. A huge assumption, because I think Alabama State and Jackson State have clearly separated themselves from the rest of the pack in the SWAC. Maybe they've separated themselves from the rest of the pack in HBCU football, even though North Carolina Central have something to say about that. And maybe, so there's a huge assumption there. Number two, no, they would definitely. There's a tie, and they can't refuse a Celebration Bowl even if they wanted to. But Jackson State does. They don't want to. The Celebration Bowl is the prize. That's where the money is. That's where your exposure comes from. That's where the interest of the eyeballs. And again, the conference has already, they from my understanding is that contractually they've obligated themselves to ESPN and others to send the conference champion to the Celebration Bowl, and they don't have the right to opt out of that game. Now, the question becomes if Alabama State wins next week, this upcoming week, Jackson State, go ahead and run the table the rest of the way. The question becomes, does Jackson get an at-large bid in the playoffs? And I would say that's highly probable. I think they will if that happens.
Yeah, I would
Anybody
think
else?
so too.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I would think so too because I noticed what was that 2021 where FAMU lost one conference game but they got that at large bid into the FCS playoffs. Usually, if you win 9 or 10 games and you got that one conference loss, they'll let you squeeze in there.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if you've been ranked for the entire season.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's probable, but that's going to be a huge game this upcoming week against Jackson State and Alabama State. I'll be in Daytona watching the Southern game, Bethune the Southern, but I'll have my eyeballs on that game. That's going to be I'm looking forward to that. Before we get to that, Charles, anything else around the D2 ranks you want to bring up?
Morehouse beat Tuskegee yesterday, 27-20. Boy, in the upset.
Ooh, Coach Bell, did you remind your wife of that? He didn't say anything. She might be throwing some shoes at him. So go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, they got. I believe that's their first win over. Like I said, over Tuskegee. They got close against Ed Waters, but they didn't close the deal. But they got over the hump yesterday. So congrats to those guys. Then Prairie View. Oh my goodness, they got a scare by Alcorn. I guess the Braves came in that game 0-4. I guess they was like, hey, we just not gonna lay down for the rest of the season. We gonna fight it out. It was 13-12 game, and I was watching the end of that after the Cookman game went off. So I probably saw like maybe a quarter and a half. And usually from the last couple of Prairie View games I've seen, they go 4-minute offense, they run the ball, and they will either score again or they'll just run that clock and milk that clock so you don't get the ball back. But their last possession, it was a 3-and-out, which they threw 2 passes, and I'm like, that's unlike Tremaine and his guys to try that. Maybe they were trying to catch Alcorn off guard, or maybe they felt like Alcorn was, had stiffer run defense, and they maybe had suspected them having rather. But I was just surprised because when they got the ball back, I was like, okay, here comes the 4-minute offense. They just gonna pound this rock. Alcorn might not get it back, but Alcorn did get it back, and they drove the ball, and they kicked what would have been the game-winning field goal, but it was a miss. So I was
Alcorn,
surprised that was on. Hmm?
Alcorn actually had a chance to win at the end.
Yes, they missed a
Oh,
field goal with
I didn't know
under
that.
a minute or under 2 minutes left. They were right there. It was 13-12 game. I was wowed by that one because
Yeah,
I
I
just
knew it
knew,
was a
like I
close
said,
game. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
I just knew that Tremaine was gonna go to that 4-minute offense like he had done the last couple of weeks in their wins against Northwestern State and against Grambling, but he didn't do that. They threw 2 passes.
Yeah, well,
Like,
I mean, they can run the ball, but passing even though I think they have more passing yards in this game, but they're a pretty good running team. I don't think they love their pass game. So again, maybe this was a situation where you think you can, you got a player or two that you like, so you go out and call that. So but it didn't work out for them. Or actually worked out for them
Yeah,
in the end because they wound up winning. So yeah,
yeah,
that
exactly.
was the one competitive game in the SWAC. Everybody else got 50 put on them. So
Yeah.
yeah, everybody else got
Woo.
Jackson State. I thought either the Jackson State, Alabama A&M, or Bethune-Cookman, Alabama State game. I thought one of those games would get pressed towards the end. I thought Alabama A&M or Bethune would give Alabama State or Jackson State. I thought it would give them a one possession game. I was wrong on both accounts, and so those boys just again Alabama State roll. Jackson State rolled. I didn't get a chance to watch any of the Jackson State game. And then I
Oh, me
was
neither.
really surprised by Texas Southern going out putting up 51 on Pine Bluff. I'm like,
Yeah, I
what?
thought Alonzo Hampton and his guys, I thought they were going to play a more competitive game. And I kind of, when I was watching the Ford Memorial stream, I just was looking at that score and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, didn't watch. Yeah, again, I didn't see any of that game. I didn't see any of the Jackson State game except, a few highlights to see that Jackson's offense is starting to wake up. So, you know, now you got a clash between those two titans this week between
oh, yeah.
Alabama State and Jackson State. So again, before we start jumping into the Bethune game, just unmute your mic, Earl, if you're on there. Who Charles? Who do you like? Just Alabama State, Jackson State. Who do you like in that matchup?
Unpopular opinion, I'm going with Alabama State
Yeah. Anybody else
in a
on?
close
Just
game.
go ahead in a close game. Anybody else want to jump in on that one? Troy, who you got? Alabama State, Jackson State this week.
I haven't watched the tape from this week. I'm gonna reserve my comments until I look at the games from this week.
You're going to reserve it until your podcast. Go ahead and say it.
Oh no, I have an opinion by tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. So, Earl, what's going on, brother Earl?
I hope they both lose.
It's gonna be a forfeit. Forfeit for fighting before the game. That's what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Throwing
take that.
blows. Yeah. So, if you had to choose one right now, who do you think has the better team?
Well, considering that I really don't like Jackson State with all of my soul, I'm going with Alabama State.
There you go. That's expert analysis right
There you
there.
go. It's a
Yeah.
personal, it's a personal decision.
Lead with emotions and everything else to catch up.
Yeah,
I'm good
there
with.
you go.
Yeah. No, listen.
Gary, do you know I'd rather lose to y'all than lose to them? That's
That's how
bad.
bad it's gotten with Jackson State.
Yeah. I'd rather lose to y'all than lose to them. That's where we are with this.
That that's
ah, You will lose this. Don't worry.
Wow. I never thought I'd hear a Rattler say something like that.
hey man, it's got to come through Florida.
Yo, I feel you. Okay.
There you
Yeah. Well,
go.
we're gonna pause on that this year. We'll pick that up next year. We're coming through Florida.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
that,
we
that
gonna we
look
gonna
that
give them a
looks to
year
be
break.
pretty.
Sis.
That looks
Go
to
ahead.
be pretty accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna give them a year break. But yeah. Oh, let me go ahead and unmute Doc's mic since so he can hear it. So right now we said, Doc, go ahead and accept that request. So far we asked, who do you like in the game? Alabama State, Jackson State, and right now everybody that's on this call seem to be leaning towards Alabama State. You wouldn't in a million years accept that if the Lord Jesus himself parted through the clouds and told him. So why don't you tell us why it won't be Alabama State and Jackson State's going to win, Doc?
Easy.
You said
Easy.
easy. Wow. Go
Easy.
ahead. Tell us why.
Listen, it's homecoming. We owe them an ass whooping from my homecoming 2 years ago. So I'm looking at the game. I'm just saying it's easy because I'm just talking shit. But I know it's gonna be a challenge though, man. Because both, I mean, Bama State run the ball, we run the ball, but we can stop the run. Lead, lead the conference in rush defense. Lead the conference in pass defense. Lead the conference in scoring defense. Um, it's gonna be a challenge. You gotta, get ready for everybody. And he's playing out of his mind. So I don't want nobody to be thinking that he's not. He's playing out of his mind. So
So what's happened to your offense recently? It seemed like it's coming to life. What's different?
I don't know. That super juice that they had in Space Jam. I guess they
Yeah.
got some of that last week. They said we're gonna go for 500 and then go for 700 yesterday. That was ridiculous yesterday.
Yeah,
That
I didn't see
that
any of the
was
game, but what, 709 yards or 706 yards,
that
whatever
was
it was.
ridiculous. Yeah, and A&M defense making Jacoby and Morgan looking like Vince Young. That was crazy.
Yeah, well, y'all gonna have your hands full, and like you said, y'all got them on homecoming, so you got all of the emotional reasons to go out and win this game. And somebody asked the question earlier, do you think Jackson's chances if they don't make the Celebration Bowl of making the playoffs? What do you say about that?
Depends on how we finish after season. Um, and I mean, let's just say we don't make the playoffs. I mean, we don't make the Celebration Bowl. I think we have a good enough chance with the resume that we have to make the playoffs. Um, but the goal of the team, is to make the SWAC championship game and to make the Celebration Bowl.
Hey, I got a question, Jerry.
What's that?
What resume is that, Doc? We've seen this play out before with this playoff stuff. So what resume do you have?
I mean, the only thing we have that's on, the only thing that we have that's on our loss on our record was the loss to Southern Miss
Got
right
you.
now.
And
So
we've seen how the playoffs react toward the Southwestern Athletic Conference. So I
yeah,
got no confidence in those people.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't, and that's the reason why we had opted out of the playoffs over. Shoot, that was my after my freshman year in college. That was in 1997. Like that's how long we've been out of we opted out of the playoffs until FAMU came back in there and went in 21. So I mean, and we had a chance, and two, we had a chance to go in 20. We had a chance to go in 23, but the last 2 out of 3 games we lost that year.
yeah. Listen, I mean, going if this Alabama State game, obviously, again, you talk about the playoffs. If you don't win this game, you're going to be favored by probably double digits in all of the games that's in front of you.
Yeah,
So, there's not anybody on there who has a resume that's going to help you. But again, I think what favors you all is that you've been ranked in the top 25 all year, so you're in the
right.
voters' mind. So a lot of that stuff is confirmation bias, anyway. So, I think y'all will be fine. I think you'll get an invite, but I know you got business to take care of this week. I know y'all want to win the SWAC East and have a chance to go to the Celebration
Yeah,
Bowl. Listen,
yeah, yeah. So you think about it. We always thought about it. Uh, since the conference expanded, it was whoever won. Of course, whoever won the Orange Blossom thing was in charge of the East. Um, Also, whoever won the state fair, not state fair, but whoever won the Labor Day class in the West was in charge of the West. So I just look at it as one of the things.
well, the West right now don't have a whole lot going on over there. I mean, Prairie View struggling with Alcorn was a surprise to me, but yeah, they struggling over there on that side of the bracket. But again, it should be a real good game this week between Alabama State and Jackson State. I think if I had to lean right now, I would, obviously Jackson State's the champion until somebody beat them. I liked Alabama State squad last year. I thought they were short at quarterback once Body got hurt. And so I thought last year was their year, but Body got hurt. But now that he's back, just because those guys have only had 2 SWAC championships in their history, they got to win a third one at some point. So I'm going to lean towards Alabama State, but I really don't have a dog in the fight. You know, I think it can go either way. I wouldn't bet grandma's house or tuna salad on the winner because I really don't know. I think you got 2 teams that really kind of mirror each other, that good running games. You know, they can get both of them have good receivers, good defenses. Jackson State defense a little bit better this year. I think Alabama State has the better quarterback and Andrew Body. I'll tell you this, as it relates to Andrew Body against Bethune-Cookman, he had another really good day doing his thing. But Earl, I'm gonna go back to what you said the week before. Andrew Body had a great game against Bethune-Cookman, but we did not put him under any pressure. There was no stress. And so he wasn't asked to throw the ball downfield because he didn't have to. They turned around, hand the ball off. He ran 388 yards. We were able to get pressure on him a little bit with 4. And but every time that happened, you know, you got some running lanes when you rush with 4. And he was just able to just outflank, out athlete, outrun defensive ends and, you know, middle linebacker that spine on him. He, you know, just so he made a difference with his legs. But again, I would have, if again, at some point, you got to force the guy to make some plays under stress. I would have tried to put him in a situation to see if he can make some throws downfield because most of his throws, I would say 85, 90% of his throws were just simple bubbles. I mean, there were bubbles and out. It was nothing beyond 10 yards. Most of them were right at the line of scrimmage and just let your playmakers do their thing. And so we'll see as it relates to those guys. But again, that was their game plan against us, is make Bethune-Cookman have to come up and tackle, and we couldn't tackle. And so and then again, he would just outflank our defense anytime he get under duress. So you know, shout out to that guy. He's a phenomenal player. He makes it look easy. It makes it look simple. And trying to drop a plan to stop him is a lot easier to talk about than to actually go out there and do. But again, they had 31 points in the first half. So let's just get into the game against Bethune. Anything? Go ahead. You unmuted your mic, Doc. Go ahead.
I mean, when you look at it, when you look at what Andrew Body's doing, man, I think he got a point to prove. Like, you know, being injured for the last 2 years, um, also being on on a team where they underachieved under a head coach who really didn't too much care about it. Um, um, you see how he's playing this this season, and like I said, he got something to prove. Now, I thought yesterday that Bethune was going to give them some competition, and I'm trying to figure out what happened after the first touchdown.
So
So,
here's what happened. I mean, you know, Charles, you could jump in on this if you want to. Just in that first, Earl actually texted me in the game as it was happening. But you know, Bethune get the ball first play, just like the game prior against Alabama A&M. First play of the game, 85-yard bomb to Malik Huggins, and so caught him on a deep post, more of an over route, but caught him. Just ran past everybody, 85-yard touchdown, one play drive, 85 yards. Bama State get the ball, they run the ball down our throat, move the ball downfield, go out, score. Had a chance to get them off the field a couple of times on third down, but we couldn't do it for one reason or another. 7-7. Bethune takes his next drive. They're driving down the field. Get to right at the 50-yard line. It's 4th and 2. Earl's texting me, kick the ball, pin them deep. Don't go for it. I'm yelling, no, we need to go for it. We're going to be, we got to score 40 points to beat these guys. We had a good play call in, had a guy open in the flat. Quarterback just short-armed it, skipped the ball to him. They went down, they scored. And then, you know, we're driving again. We fumbled the ball, I think it was this time. And they go in 17-7. Now, it's 17-7 against these guys. They're averaging 10 yards per run. You are playing under duress. And I believe it was on that drive that Cam Ransom wound up getting hurt. When he fumbled the ball, he wound up getting hurt and coming out of the game. And you put in your backup, Tim McClain, who did a really good job, but we were always playing catch up. I mean, we got it to, so that was, they scored again. It's 24-7. Bethune come down. Tim leads the team. Malik Huggins has his second touchdown of the day. It's 24-14. All right, we're still in this thing. 24-14, less than 2 minutes left. I'm saying this off the top of my mind, so if I'm wrong, Charles, please jump in. I'm not doing it. I should pull up the play-by-play. But it's less than 2 minutes left. You got to get a stop, right? You go into halftime, get a stop, and we couldn't get a stop. We didn't do it. So again, every time we scored, we had no shot at stopping their offense. Our offense did just fine. They had 309 yards of offense in the first half. You're moving the ball against these guys. You 309 yards. You like to score a few more points, but so the idea that these were garbage yards or they did something to stop Bethune's offense, that just didn't happen. Bethune wound up with 569 yards of total offense. So the offense was just fine. Alabama State didn't shut them down. We just could not stop them. Again, 388 yards on the ground. Andrew Body was just a difference maker. He got them out of trouble anytime we had a chance to get off the field. And so, at some point, Alabama State won the game because they're a better football team. That's just the bottom line. They got better players. They're a better team. And we didn't help ourselves. There was atrocious tackling. I mean, really, really bad tackling this game. There were, not really any blown coverages or anything like that. We just didn't get those guys on the ground when we had an opportunity to. We didn't do anything from a schematic standpoint that would try to create any type of mixed match disadvantages or anything like that. We just, and we lost to a better team. And that's how that went. So, Charles.
Yeah, I would have to agree. It's just that what I thought stood out after the first score, and they came back and scored. It was just those next three possessions, in my opinion, like the one that the fourth down that wasn't converted, and then there was a possession after that where it was a 3-and-out, didn't even gain a yard, and then there was another drive after that went 4 plays and a fumble. But Alabama State took advantage of all of those miscues when they got the ball back.
Yeah. 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 That fumble was, that was a killer. Because again, you're still in the game at the time. I think it was what,
Exactly.
17-7 at the time. You're doing okay. And it was just, it was uncalled for. So, but again, I'm not we knew, again, if both teams played at their best, we knew Alabama State was going to win this game. What I did not like from Bethune's standpoint, if from just watching it and analyzing it, I did not like our tackling at all. And so that was something that has always plagued, these Woody squads. We thought they were cleaning it up earlier over the last couple of games. They started to tackle a little bit better. And then yesterday, it was just, yeah, they couldn't get guys on the ground.
Yeah, off bubble screens and stuff like that. Like, oh, you got to still tackle that dude, man. Don't let him just be running wild like that in the open field.
Yeah, well, some of that was it was bad tackling. One, you're right. Sometimes just at the point and not getting the guys on the ground. You got to give the other guys credit for that too. They're pretty good and they're on scholarship and they get paid to make guys miss. And so you got to give those guys credit. But the other side of it is the tackling was really bad. Sometimes you're not even helping your guys. Like we did not do anything, and I like to hear from one of the coaches that's on here. Any one of the coaches or any other player, anybody who's actually schemed anything. I think Bethune's defense, right? They line up. They're in this. No matter what alignment they're in. The bottom line is they love that they stick with their 4-2-5, but they're very static. I don't care what you do. I don't. People say I hate 4-2-5 defense. I hate 3-3. Whatever. It don't matter what alignment you're in. You got to go out and make a play. What for Bethune? Their defense is very static. There's not a lot of movement. They don't do a lot up front as far as stunting and that sort of thing. They don't bring guys from different places. And so, the opposing offenses know exactly what's coming. And so it's really easy to scheme against. So now you got to depend on your guys being better than them because you're not creating an advantage from a scheme standpoint. So if you can't create an advantage from a scheme standpoint, then you just got to go out and do your job and be better. And I'm not certain that, well, I am certain. I'm certain that we haven't proven that we can be better because we're dead last in the SWAC in almost every defensive category. So, yeah. Coach Rowland, I'm unmute your mic. Dorsey, you can jump in. Any other coaches that are on here? Just want to hear from just schematically, just how much from an offensive standpoint, right? When you have a static defense and guys they line up, who's everyone is. How much of an advantage is that to an offense? Coach Rowland?
Oh, I didn't know you was talking to me.
I'm just
It's
saying
a
as a
huge.
play caller, as an
Oh,
offensive play caller.
it's a huge advantage. I mean, if they know where you're gonna be at. They can scheme it up from a O-line perspective, which that's number one. If the O-line know where you're gonna be at, then they can do anything they want to do. I think that's one of the biggest things now. And I think with how the SWAC is, where everybody is so even, you're talking about you got to try to create some kind of surprise. Where if if it's even, and they know you're gonna be there, they're gonna be able to, because the game is made for offense anyways, because of how innovative offense have become in creating extra gaps and stuff like that. Like the only element you have is surprise, and so you know, unless your guys up front are just war daddies, it does become tough for you to just line up in one situation to win. And so I mean, it definitely being static. You could be static when you were Clemson with all them dudes, or if Steve Baggs out there playing, then yeah, be static because Baggs gonna win. But if you don't have a guy like that, then you definitely got to try to figure out some movement to make something happen.
Yep. And so, at what point though, if you see this is happening, and this was I know this is what we've seen from Bethune. They this is how they play defense. But again, me being an armchair quarterback, at halftime, I'm sitting around talking to the people around me and say, "Wait, hold on. You've already given up 31 points in the first half. 31 points over 300 yards of offense you've given up." I'm like, you can't come back in the second half and do this again, right? There's got to be some kind of adjustments, but again, I'm not a coach, so do you just say this is who we are? It's too late to try to teach something new to these guys, and you gotta live with the one you brought to the dance? How does that work, Coach?
I don't think it's necessarily something new. I think a lot of it comes down to you got different packages of what you do, whether it's a man-to-man package for the week, whether it's a zone package for the week, it's a one high look, two high look. I'm sure they had some other things. Now why they didn't do it, who knows? All of us get stubborn at times and want to run. We run, and so, to a fault sometimes. But that would be that's probably the number one question. Like a fan, a follower of the team, because I can call you a fan, like a follower of the team, believer of the team, like that would be a question you would have and be like, man, we just gave up 31 and a half. Now we gonna do nothing else different. And so, definitely, we went through it. You know what I mean? Like worst defensive performance I ever been around was 2 weeks ago. For our guys, and we had to figure out something new. Obviously, we made a couple of coaching changes in that sense, but you definitely got to figure something else out to do because everybody else going to try to do the same thing. That's the scary part about football now is that everybody's
Yeah.
capable of exposing your weakness with the exact same scheme. And that's why I talk about when I say like it's so the talent level is so close together. Everybody can do the same thing unless the quarterback just can't throw it or something. Otherwise, everybody can do the same thing.
Well, we saw Alabama State do a lot of the same things that South Carolina State did. Exploit the same matchups. That was kind of just from my standpoint, and I get it. They got Andrew Body on the other side. I don't know. I wasn't in the defensive rooms, but you would like to believe the thought was, hey, we can't give up any big plays. We're going to make these guys, drive the ball and put together 10 to 13 plays if they want to score on us. But they average 10 yards a rush. 10 yards a rush. you can't just sit back and catch those guys. They're throwing these
10?
bubbles. They had 388 yards rushing. They averaged 10 yards per rush. 10.
See,
Yes.
I ain't get home to as it was about to be over because of Pop Warner. But God dang,
10 yard. They average a first down per rush play is the average. And again, my thought process, and that was my point, is whatever your scheme was coming into the game, you've given up 31 points. You can't just go out and try to do that better now. It's 31-14. You got to do something. You got to put some. So you're giving up 10 yards a rush. They average right at 10 yards, 39 rushes, 389 yards on the ground. So you're giving up 10 yards per rush. And then in the passing game, again, everything's just bubbles. But you got, your safety is lined up on top of a slot. He's 15 yards deep. They just flip it out. That's easy money. That's the first thing they teach you in offense. If they're going to give you 5 yards, take 5 yards. And so, but they were getting 10 and 15 off of them, sometimes 40, 43. But, again, it was frustrating because it was the same blueprint that you saw not only in the first half of this game, you saw in the second half, but it's really kind of the same South Carolina State blueprint that you saw, the offensive scheme and how they attacked it. It just seemed like we just didn't have answers. So, again, sometimes the game gets big. We get it. So, yeah. But on the positive side, offensively, Coach Rowland, you'll be happy about this. Your guy Bonbon went off. Him and Malik Huggins both had over 100 and yeah, he I think they both had over 130 yards receiving. Let's see. Javon Ross 9 catches, 137 yards. Malik Huggins 7 catches, 132. 1 touchdown for Javon Ross, 2 for Malik Huggins. Bonbon is doing what you've been calling out for a long time, Coach.
That kid is special. I hope him. What year is Huggins?
I think he's a senior.
Senior.
Oh God, I said them two together are special. I mean, I need to get on the recruit trail and find somebody that fit with Bum for next year.
Yeah.
Tell them to call that off. They got some jokers. Tell you that.
Valdosta. Yeah.
Yes, God. They got some humans.
We didn't even look for you last week, Coach. We were letting you process Valdosta.
I'm glad you didn't, buddy. Because boy, you talk about how dogs sit there in the corner and lick the wounds. Yeah. All over the place. Oh God, man! But
yeah, we weren't good.
No, Bum is special, man. I tell people all the time, like, if they'll be mad at me because when they vote for best players Volusia County's ever seen, even Central Florida, I will always put that kid in there because he gave it to everybody. Every school he played against, he gave it to, and he's still doing it. So yeah, he's a bright spot.
He was with the Orlando Sentinel Ironman of the Year 2 years in a row, so it tells you a little bit of something about that guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, nothing he can't do. So you said Cam got hurt? Like he didn't come back?
Cam he got hurt. He it looks like a lower leg injury, but I think he was running around. No, I think he's okay. I think they held him out as a precautionary measure. By that time, I think the score was 24-7 when he fumbled, they went down and scored. I think that was the 24-7, and he's a little banged up and no sense of threatening. And again, speaking of Central Florida legends, Timmy McClain came in and he had a bad fumble that took us out of had a bad interception and a bad fumble that is really kind of took us out of scoring position. But he had 266 yards pass. I mean, Tim played for a backup quarterback coming in a game like that. I thought he played extremely well. And so, again, sometimes you give up some plays and you make some mistakes, but you got to overcome them. Yeah. So, but yeah, so Cam's fine. That was just precautionary. I think they said so yeah. But yeah, overall, again, this was one of those games that tell you where you are. I think I'm still excited about the progress that Coach Woody and those guys have made this year. The team looks completely different, but we've seen them against 2 of the top 4 HBCU teams in South Carolina State and Alabama State. So the distance between where you are and where those guys are you're seeing that difference right now. And so again, you have an interception, a fumble, you missed the field goal. All right, there you go. You lose by 17 points. That's how these games work. And so, but that's what you got to do. You got to figure out how to close the gap on the big boys. So, yeah, anything else in this game that stand out for anybody?
I like the way Ali Scott ran the ball. He was
Oh my
delivering some
goodness.
contact and how he
Oh
was
my
finishing his runs. Oh my, yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, I like this.
yeah.
Now, when it
Yeah.
comes to defense, like I think they were, I watched the game on TV. I wasn't there, so what the announcers were saying, I guess when they spoke with coach before the game, they said that I guess his focus would be to make Body uncomfortable, which makes complete sense. But my thing is, that's the second best rushing team in the conference. I mean, I've never been a coach, so I don't know how this works as far as from a coaching standpoint, but sometimes I can't help but to think, hey, man, they run the ball pretty effectively. How about we stop the run and make this dude go up top to beat us? I'm not saying that would have worked out either because it could have been worse or it could have been better.
You got to do something. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
that's what
they were sitting around and they ran power all game, and again, Alabama State offensive line moves people. That's the those that is a that's all that's an offensive line that is a good offensive line, a really good offensive line. You had your work cut out no matter what. Again, playing them in a base defense all day where you know uh-uh. So yeah, I don't know what the plan was. Again, maybe they just thought that their front four can handle Alabama State's offensive line and they can control the run pretty well, kind of like they did the last 2 weeks against both Edward Waters and Alabama A&M. They did a pretty good job of controlling the line of scrimmage and containing the run game. So maybe that was the thought that we can do the same. And again, you get in games like that, and before you look up, you blink 3 times and you're down. You're down by 17 points. Sometimes you just, you know, you just riding the game out. So, who knows? But I don't know.
I see a John led them in receiving yards. Oh,
Ajay looks good. Ajay actually he looks quick. He looks quicker. I mean, obviously he's still
he healthy.
he healthy. He actually, but you can see he got his little quickness back. He again, he was one of those that we couldn't tackle. I don't the first guy never tackled him. So but that's Ajay Harold. So that's why
yeah.
you heard me say. Go ahead. Yeah. No, they're good. Man, listen, Alabama State's a good team. They have 4 or 5 receivers that are all different, zeros, a 4-2 guy, a Jai is a Jai. 5 is good over there. They got like 3 running back. That's a good football team. It was always going to be an uphill battle to beat them. We just didn't help ourselves by not getting them on the ground, and we didn't create an advantage from a scheme standpoint. But hey, it's all good, on to Southern. That's a good call out with Ali Scott. He had a real good game. Yep. I think Antoine Watt too, man. He's looking like the guy 15. I was kind of hard on him last season, but some of those guys, I remember the defensive coaching staff kept saying he's going to get better. This is his first year starting, and we saw some of his struggles last year, but they stuck with him. They knew what they had in him. They let him get his reps out there. They let him figure it out, and right now he's just he's earning that preseason all SWAC honor. He's he balling. He's out there been a football player, and so want to shout out to him on the defensive side. Thought he had an incredible game. So 15, Antoine Watts. Good
Oh
job,
yeah,
sir.
I think he had like 10 tackles. He looked like a little
Yeah,
hammer out there at times.
yeah. No, he's worked himself into being a football player. Like seriously, it's like, and again, it's hard. I mean, safety is probably if you're not comfortable, the 2 positions that if you're not comfortable playing football, it's 2 positions you absolutely can't hide at. One of them is a quarterback. The other one is on the back end on defense. It's a lot of space when you playing back there, and so if you have any doubt about yourself, it's going to show up. So Um, yeah, but that doubt seems to be he's worked that out and he's out there playing football. So again, love what he's saying. Ashley, you you had a problem not with anything that the coaching staff was doing, but some of the Bethune some of the Bethune fans. What's up with that? Her mic, she don't have her mic on. Yep, just trying to get Ashley. Go ahead and open up your mic. There you go, Ashley. Some people got up underneath your skin. What's going on?
Well, you know how those Facebook groups go with all of those old alumni. And it's just, I'm at the point, I'm just sick of them. And you know the ones that I'm talking about, I'm sure. I'm sure a lot of people know the ones that I'm talking about. But it's just like y'all sit online. Y'all don't even go to the games. Y'all go to homecoming and that's that. But you sit online and talk about the kids, you talk about the coaches, and I'm just like completely over everything with them. I love Bethune-Cookman. I love Bethune-Cookman football, but I hate our old fans. They are so
Damn.
bandwagony. Let us start winning, then it's gonna be, oh yes, this, and that. But everybody knows we're down right now. I went to the game. I've been to quite a few games. And if y'all ain't coming to the games, if you're not supporting them, don't say nothing about them. And that's just that.
Hold on now. Wait, hold on. We got to define old because you know I'm not young anymore. So what's
I
old
mean,
fans?
that's a lot what I see on they tend to get on Facebook a lot. So I'm not sure of their age. I'm 35.
No, give it.
I'm
Throw a
not
number
sure.
out there.
I'm
Just
not sure.
throw a
I'm
number.
35 now, so I'm not young, but it's like the 60-year-olds and it's just like, come on, man. Come on,
Oh,
y'all got to stop at this point. And then it's just like I think it was more so from what happened on the sideline when they had one of our
yeah.
coaches that was yelling at the fan. But in his defense, I see it both ways. He was taking up for the kid for the players because the way that their stadium was, their seats were right close to that. So he was just like, man, these kids, like, leave them alone. And it just escalated from that, and oh, the professionalism. But it's just like Alabama State, y'all did all that crybaby stuff last week about the Ozempic, but their fans are so rude. But that's just that.
No. Yes. Earl, we got 10 more years before we make it to the old fan crew. You heard that? So we, we fitting. So anyways. So no, I get what you're saying. No, their fans do sit right there where the tunnel, right in front of the tunnel where players exit the field and come onto the field. And so yeah, they were there heckling everybody. The um they were heckling the cheerleaders, they were heckling everybody. So yeah,
Right.
coach stuck up for his team, and I don't mind that stuff happened. I like for you to have a little bit of passion, so that doesn't bother me
Correct.
at all. I
At
don't
all.
want
And it's just like they made it a big deal about him taking up for the players. Just like you would want to see them take up for that was your son that's getting heckled or anything. You would want to see, okay, yeah, he got my child back. And it's just like you made a big deal out of that. Oh, and it was this and it's that, and they're undisciplined. We can't talk about the players being undisciplined because the coaches are undisciplined. And yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that way, but I get it. Everybody got their opinion, and so I didn't see. Actually, I didn't see an undisciplined football team. I just saw a football team that ran into a buzzsaw, played against a better team and lost. And so,
Exactly. And that
yeah,
was my thing. Y'all complaining about nothing. Y'all weren't even at the game. Y'all saw what was put on SWAC TV. I was actually at the game.
so was I. So
Hey,
yeah, but
I missed that, Jerry. What'd you say?
yeah, we Ashley was talking about the old Bethune Cookman fans who were getting on her nerves, and so we had to have a definition of what old was. And she tried to be diplomatic, but she eventually came out and said old is 60. So I said we got a whole nother decade before
Okay,
we have to worry.
yeah, we good.
Yeah, we good. We don't have to. Yeah. So we semi old now. So yeah.
I ain't
Yeah.
exactly like that statement.
Uh, Troy, yeah, you didn't like that statement, Troy?
No, I'm 8 years off from 60. I ain't really like that statement.
I apologize.
No,
You good.
You don't have to
Don't pay him
apologize.
no mind.
You
Yeah,
all right?
He
yeah,
just old. That's all.
yeah. So yeah, but good deal. So look, we got Southern this week. We've never beat Southern. Cookman has never beat Southern. Southern has also never come to Bethune-Cookman. So never come to Daytona. I'm glad the game is not being played in Tampa. And so for a myriad of reasons, a bunch of reasons. For those of you who've been around for a length of time, you know that the city of Tampa didn't do Bethune-Cookman and FAMU. They didn't do right by us. So I'm not trying to take anything back over there anytime soon. Maybe that's the old fan in me. But the other thing is for teams like Southern, man, they need to come to Daytona. We need to try to build up our fan base at home, not take those kind of games and export them other places. So either
Yeah.
way, they're coming to Daytona. And thoughts on this game? I think this is Bethune's first win over Southern. I just don't think they can score with us. I think that's a program that's out of sorts right now. They do worry me a little bit because they can run the football. And, a week after giving up 389 yards on the ground, you can't say that you're not concerned about the run game. But I think we can outscore these guys. I'm looking forward to rebounding this week. Any
Yeah,
thoughts?
you gonna win that game, Jerry.
Yeah.
You gonna win that game, and I agree about the Tampa thing too. Not so much because of how things went down between our two teams, but the moving these games to pro stadiums, all the trying to figure out a classic, blah blah blah. No, these need to be home and home games. We got stadiums. I don't
Yeah.
understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we got stadiums. So, but y'all
Yeah.
win the
To
game.
be
Y'all win the
fair,
game, Jerry.
when we start talking about the city of Tampa, if it is not done by the actual city of Tampa, like they've done with the Omegas, the Kappas, and the Sigmas, if the city of Tampa is not behind it, it's nothing to talk about. Everybody else has failed when it comes to bringing black events to the city of Tampa.
Yeah. I'm just not a fan. I'm like Earl. I'm not a fan of. My rule is stay away from promoters. I don't like moving these games to these cities. If you're going to play a game at a neutral site, then you need to have all of your funds guaranteed up front. Like I know you had that Gulf Coast Classic this week with Alabama A&M and in Jackson State, but that's an established event. Mobile always bring in those kind of games, and again, I'm all right with that. But if you look around and look at all the mess that's happened with these classics, quote unquote, over the last several years. You had, a late cancellation of the game in St. Louis. Remember, was that Pine Bluff and somebody at the Gateway? That was a couple of years ago. But again, you're seeing this stuff happen more and more. But either if you wanna bring a game in, or you wanna have a game in a different city, then do what FAMU and Bethune do. Own your own game and take it wherever you want to. Use it as a
Right,
recruiting event. And do that sort of thing. But no, to turn it over to a sponsor, and if there's money to be made, don't let somebody else make the money.
right, right. We need to make our own money.
Make your own money. If FAMU say I want to go back to Jacksonville because we just want to, we want to be in the city of Jacksonville, then FAMU go own that game. Go to the city of Jacksonville, work out what you need to work out, have you a Thursday, Friday, Saturday kind of deal where you're doing your recruiting and got the high schools coming in and all that other stuff. But promoters and man, listen, the party is nice, but it's a university and you got a business to run. So go out there and make it a recruiting tool, not a, I can't say that. Anyways, it ain't just a party. So, but that's just me. So Southern's coming in this week. Again, I like our chances against Southern. I really don't. I don't trust where their program is right now. I think they're ready to run Graves out of town. We cannot give them a reason to kind of let this be a get right game for them. But we got to fix the defensive run game. I do not trust their pass game at all. And so, other than that, I think we go out and do what we been doing. I think Bethune set up for a nice little run here with the one game at a time. But you got Southern, you got Pine Bluff, you got Valley, you got Grambling. So, nice little run set up for us right now.
Hmm? Yeah, I think, man, I think we should have no issues with Southern. From just based on, I've only seen them. I only seen them play when they played NC Central. The only person that kind of make me nervous on their offense is Trey Holly,
Yeah,
running back.
yeah. So yeah, it's just from a matchup standpoint though. I don't love. Let me be clear. I don't love our linebacker play at all times. Again, depending on who's out there, but our run fit sometimes can leave a lot to be desired. So, again, that's the one part that if you're them, if you're Southern, you got to be looking at that and saying this is our plan. Again, I don't think that we can. We scored 35 points or more in every game against HBCU competition this year. I don't think Southern defense will keep us under 35. I like us in that 37, 42 range again. And I just don't think they can keep up. I don't think they can keep up offensively. So I'm pretty confident in this win, but I'll be at the stadium there and we'll go from there. Anybody else got any thoughts on the Southern game or this last game before we hang up? Anything else for the week ahead, week behind us?
Oh yeah, I like the point you made where you said we should at least, scoring that high 30, low 40 range. They give up 36, 37 points a game. They score like 16. Like you said, I don't think they have enough offense.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think they have enough. They were a better team last year, and it took what, 5 overtimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 overtimes to beat us. We were not as good of a team, so that doesn't mean anything on Saturday except to say I think we'll win this game. So I'm looking forward to probably be a little bit more lively next week when we you know coming off of a win. So looking forward to being here next week. Anybody got anything else for the good of the whole?
Yeah, where's the mayor? He had a lot to say last week.
Nah, man, I took Mayor's still sleeping on his stomach, man. Them boys
Yeah,
put that belt on us. Yeah, so
yeah, a lot to say last week. I was looking
yeah,
forward to talking to the mayor.
yeah. Everybody was feeling good last week. They'll come back feeling good. This they'll
Yeah.
they'll either feel real good or they'll be real ticked off. Either way, it'll be. I think you'll get a lot more interaction going on. This
One thing I am glad that I didn't hear is anybody talking about firing the coach. I'm glad to hear that we didn't have that unless I missed the first 20
no,
minutes.
nobody want to fire the coach.
Okay,
Coach good.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's stop
yeah,
firing coaches, guys.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now you gotta give Woody credit. Look, this it's a different team this year, and they're so we got some things to fix defensively, but that's still one of the better offensive teams in across the HBCU landscape, and got to figure some things out defensively. But again, you are now coming up against a group of teams that allow you to start feeling good about yourself defensively. Because Southern's not very good offensively, Pine Bluff's not very good offensively, Valley's not very good offensively. So you can maybe start to get some confidence and start to figure some things out. So we'll see.
that's right. Hey, now,
And
I think we'd be remiss if everybody didn't rise. I'm so glad I'm from FAMU. I'm so glad I'm from FAMU. I'm so glad.
He was waiting on me to mute him a little bit ago, and so
Yeah, I
it
was
didn't
waiting on
happen.
it. I'm like, he ain't started
Now,
this thing yet.
I try to set him up. He'll realize it in a minute that we're not listening to him, and he'll come back in and finish. Uh, and so Earl playing trombone now. Look at him. Yeah. So, hey, let me give Ashley the last word. Ashley, the Marching Hornets they were it wasn't just the fans talking noise. They were talking crap about your Marching Wildcats. What's up with that?
They did talk about it, but I don't got nothing to say. They like to send out fines and stuff. So I'm gonna just say they crybabies. That's it.
You got that right, girl. I'm with you. I'm with you when you're right.
You don't want to get fined, huh? You and Earl
Hey,
and Joe, they try to keep y'all money. Yeah, so
Jared, I wouldn't pay them people no mind.
yeah, no, Yeah, it was.
Talking about some $10,000. I'll send it to you in pennies.
Yeah, they.
Nah.
The fine
It
is
was.
bigger than the media rights deal. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, get out of here with
Say
that
what?
foolishness.
Say that again, Troy.
The fine is bigger than the media rights deal. The
Thank,
SWAC gets about 7K per event.
thank you, Troy. They better get out of
Okay.
our face with that foolishness.
Well, there you go. I mean, what ability do they have to enforce that on the band announcers?
Exactly.
I guess they're
Exactly.
saying it's still part of the football contest. Is that
I,
their
I
argument?
I would love to see it in some type of bylaws or rules or what have you. Because I'm queuing up Joe Bullock this weekend. Man, please.
Yeah. So
This ain't no band competition.
so
That's what Alabama State thought it was when they was under football stuff. Oh, y'all band not coming. Y'all band not coming. This is a football game, not the battle of the bands. But
Right.
I
cra-
digress.
crazy thing though, they said our band not coming because we broke. But I'm like, y'all haven't been to Daytona since y'all been in the SWAC. So
Correct.
Exactly.
And not
yeah,
coming.
and it ain't like we really want to see you. Let's be honest with you. It was they were decent in the stands. They were okay in the stands. They weren't bad in the stands. They were fine. That's the same halftime show that I've seen them do, 8 million times, and it's boring every time. But
Correct.
It was.
like it literally is nothing to it. I'm like, that's a halftime show. Like you don't even change for halftime. But then I thought the last time I was there, it was halftime, and it was the exact same show, and you know they dance like PWIs. It's awful. So
Yeah.
they do seriously. Like we sit there, I'm like, like that looked like Iowa band, black and gold. But well,
Yeah, I don't know. You might be in trouble, Jerry. Ashley might be my new favorite Wildcat on here. We agree. We
that's all
agree
right.
on something.
We'll agree on something. We'll agree on something. But both of y'all gonna get fined, so then don't come running to me. Yeah, I'm not helping either one of y'all out. Talk about them Bama folk. Yeah. But anyways, all good. We didn't talk about the tragedies that happened up in South Carolina State and in Montgomery. But we'll say that for a different time. We don't
Wow.
want to bring the show down. But yeah, anyways, y'all
That's
be safe. Go ahead. Somebody
Oh
say
no,
something.
I was just only saying, yeah, I actually stayed at the Renaissance, so in that area of the shooting, I thought it was fireworks last night. I was just like, oh, they celebrating their homecoming. To be surprised, it say it was 2 people killed and like 14 people injured. I said, oh, yep, get me out of
Yeah.
what they call it, the Gump. Get me
The
out of here.
gump. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was I don't know how they connected that to. They tried to connect it to the Tuskegee and Morehouse game that was in the city. I don't know how they drew that association, but
So I would say in the area because like I said, I stayed at the Renaissance Hotel. So right across the street from that, it was a whole bunch of their signage. They had balloons and a Ferris wheel, and all of that. Welcome. So I'm gonna assume that's how they tried to connect it because it was in that same area where all of that stuff was.
got it. But I thought that was for the Alabama Fair or whatever they were having. So I don't know. I don't know enough about what was going on. So I tried to. I saw it and like I pray for the families, and I was like, I don't even want to make my stomach turn. So I didn't look too much into that or what happened at South Carolina State. I know it happened, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just hate that. Yeah, I hate the association. How they how these things keep happening around Tuskegee. Something happened last year. It's just, come on, man. It's homecoming, y'all. Let us enjoy something. So, but that's that. So, anyways, we'll be back here next week after a Wildcat win. Hell, Wildcats. See y'all then.
Hell, Wildcats.
Hell Rattlers. Hell no. Hell Wildcats. Hell no.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Yeah.
Yo.
So.